Omagiana Timredasya, Ganan Ganashalak, Hayak, Shakshura Militam Yena Tasmai, Srivas Namaha. So, you're all welcome to this session entitled ISKCON West Africa, Preaching and Devotee Care. We just want to give a gist of what is happening in West Africa. His Grace Brahmananda Prabhu Dennis Swami was sent to Africa by Srila Prabhupada in 1972. He started preaching in Nairobi, Kenya, but he could not get the participation of the local Africans. Srila Prabhupada expressed great dissatisfaction with him when he visited Nairobi, even though he had a strong Indian participation. So after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada in 1977, Brahmananda Swami decided to venture into West Africa. In 1979, he arrived in Lagos, Nigeria, along with His Holiness Bhakti Tito Swami to kickstart preaching in West Africa. Within a few years, so many local African devotees became attracted to Srila Prabhupada's movement. They first had a small place where they were staying and doing Sankirtan. But because of the numbers of local people who were attracted to Srila Prabhupada's books, they were compelled to look for a bigger place, because where they were was so small that they could not entertain devotees or prospective devotees who wanted to join. So they moved into a bigger place, and soon after that, many devotees began to join. Next. So in West Africa, we have many temples. There are temples in Lagos, in Benin, in Port Harcourt, in Warri, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Jos, Kaduna, Enugu, Ota, and other small preaching centers. These are the major centers in Nigeria. In Ghana, there are temples in Accra, in Kumasi, in Sunyani, in Nkokor, in Takoradi, in Takwa, Mampong, and Swedro. There is a farm under development, a 50-acre land we are trying to develop. It's just beginning in the central region. Then we also have projects in the French-speaking countries. Nigeria and Ghana are English-speaking. They are British colonies. So our national language is English, even though we have many other local languages. But we have more French-speaking countries in West Africa than the English-speaking countries. There are 16 countries in West Africa. And out of the 16, I think 5 or 6 are English-speaking. The rest are French. Yes. So go back. So we have temples in the Francophone countries that include La Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, Congo-Brazzaville, Burkina Faso, and Benin Republic. This is where we have preaching centers right now. They are countries. La Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, Congo-Brazzaville, Burkina Faso, Benin Republic. These are separate countries. They are all French-speaking. Preaching in Ghana. In Ghana, preaching started in 1981. When some devotees from Nigeria, because Nigeria was the first temple, Lagos was the first temple. So during that time, the Nigerian economy was very strong because they had just discovered oil. And so the Nigerian currency was very strong, $2 to 1 naira at that time. $2 to 1 naira. So the whole world was coming to Nigeria. because of the oil find. And so from most of the West African countries, a lot of young people migrated to Nigeria to work, especially the professionals. And so many Ghanaians were in Nigeria, and many Ghanaians began to patronize the Prabhupada's books in Nigeria. And some of them actually joined the temple. So Bhakti Tita Maharaj immediately sent 2 or 3 of them to Ghana to open the temple in 1981. I'll tell you. So, as I mentioned, in Ghana, we have a temple in Accra. That is a capital. We have installed deities Radha Govinda. In Kumasi, we have Radha Gopinath. In Sunyani, we have Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. These are the main temples. We have 3 other smaller, we can call them preaching centers. In Kokor, Swedro, Mampong. And then in Accra, we have a Goshala attached to the school, attached to the temple. We have a school. We have a primary school, basic school, primary, and junior high school attached to the temple. That provides education for the children in the catchment area. Maybe about 20 children are our own children. 120 children, 100 children are from the community. And that is, according to Kavi Chandra Maharaj, our GBC, he said that's the best preaching because it connects to the community. Muslims, Christians, African traditionalists, all their children come to Lord Krishna's Academy. The school name is called Lord Krishna's Academy. And so we teach one very special subject, Krishna consciousness. we teach we offer the normal curriculum, the government curriculum. In addition to that, we add Krishna consciousness. And that is a compulsory subject. For you to move to the next class, you must pass Krishna consciousness. So naturally, everybody who comes through that school knows something about Krishna. In English, yeah. And then we have an arrangement that the children, before they go to their class in the morning, they have to first of all come and have darshan of the Radha Govinda deities at darshan time. They participate in Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja. They take Charanamrita, then they go to school. And then we also provide prashadam. We give them lunch prashadam. So all the children, every day, they're taking Krishna prashadam. So the result is amazing. Even though these children are coming from Christian home, Muslim home, whatever background they're coming from, but they got some taste of Krishna consciousness. Last year, one devotee was in a bus, traveling in a bus. And you know, Ghana is a Christian-dominated country. So when the devotee entered the bus at the temple junction, there's a bus stop at the temple junction. And so when the devotee entered, there was a Christian preacher on the bus. He noticed, he recognized the devotee. So he immediately started speaking against ISKCON. They have that tendency. As soon as they see some competition, some competitor, they start saying something evil. So this devotee, he didn't want to react. So it would become an argument in the bus. He just kept quiet. But all of a sudden, a young woman stood up and said, "Mr. Reverend Minister, stop talking." He said, "I am a student of Lord Krishna's Academy. I have gone through their education for 9 years. I have studied their books. I have eaten their food. I have associated with them. And I think they are the best spiritual organization." You have nothing. They have philosophy. They have food. They have many practices you don't have. You have never gone there. You don't know anything about them. And you are standing there here condemning them. So you are speaking out of ignorance. If you want to know about them, go and participate in their programs. Then you can understand what they're doing. And he shut the pastor down. He sat back quietly. He never spoke again until the journey ended. So that is the effect of the school. Education is very important. You'll never know the effect. Hopefully, some of them will occupy important positions in government or in society in the future. We are not even thinking about today. But 10 years to come, 20 years to come, 50 years to come, somebody will emerge from the Christian Academy as a very important personality in the country, and he will refer to his alma mater. So Kamichandra Maharaj said that's the best preaching we are having in Ghana. Now what we want to do is we want to extend the knowledge of Krishna consciousness to all the schools in Ghana. So what you see here is, this is Kshatriya Prabhu. He is, what do I want to use a word. He is inspired by Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was doing library party. He was member of the library party. And they were going from school to school, college to college, university to university. And they were offering Srila Prabhupada's books to all these universities. And Srila Prabhupada was very happy with him. So this devotee, he has picked up that vibration, that inspiration. And now he goes from school to school, library to library, offering Srila Prabhupada's books to all the schools. And we are receiving so much appreciation from these schools, from the headmasters, So let's see. I think there's a letter from one of the schools. Can I read it? This is from Zion College, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Ghana, Accra. Letter of appreciation. This is from the assistant headmaster of the school. Next slide. This is the headmaster of a Catholic senior high school. He's receiving books. Next slide, you see this is St. Paul's Secondary School. It's a Catholic senior high school. Back. And he's going everywhere. He's not leaving any school out, making sure they're receiving Prabhupada's books in their libraries and they're reading. And what we want to do next is to organize lectures in each of these schools. Once they have our books and they are going through, automatically they will invite us to come and explain. And that will give us an opportunity to preach. Next. So I think this is a midwifery. He has even gone to a midwifery college. And he's giving these books. Next. And this is the letter of appreciation from the Nursing and Midwifery Training College, Keta. Next. This is another high school where the students are on parade and the headmaster arranged for them to receive the books. Next. Also, we have created a very small team. We call it Happiness Committee. So, Happiness Committee, their main business is to take care of devotees who are sick or devotees who are distressed. Anytime they hear one devotee is sick, they immediately go there and see what they can do to assist. Or they hear that a devotee is in distress, he is having some difficulty, they go there and they see what they can do. Next. So these are the members of the Happiness Committee. This is Prahlad Bhakta Prabhu. He's a professor in audiology. And then we have Kadamba Devi Dasi. Then we have Sudha Bhakti Devi Dasi. And we have Gopinath Prabhu. They form the Happiness Committee. And they make sure that any devotee that has any problem, they have to immediately go there and see what they can do to assist that devotee. And in fact, they are performing such amazing service. Everybody is appreciating their services. Next. And then we have these two gentlemen. This is Gyanashakshus Prabhu. He's our national chairman, National Council chairman. Gyanashakshus. And we have Lakshman Prabhu. He is the PRO, Public Relations Officer. These two gentlemen, they are amazing. Amazing. They are behind the Happiness Committee. Gyanashakshus Prabhu provide all the funding that is needed to take devotees to hospital, to provide whatever they need. He is the brain behind it. And Lakshman Prabhu, he moves everyone. He as soon as somebody is sick, he'll be there. Ganesha will send the money. He'll put him in his car. He will send it to the hospital. Wherever he has to go, he's behind it to make sure that devotees are properly taken care of. They are doing such an amazing service that everybody feels they should be empowered more and more and more and more. So we just thought we should share with this next. Then preaching in Abidjan. Abidjan is one of the best countries in West Africa. The economy is strong now. Development is coming up because the president had worked in the United Nations for many years. He has a lot of experience. I think he's married to a French lady from France. So he is more of a Frenchman than an Aforian. So he's in link with France, and he's doing a lot of things. So the country is much more developed than most of the countries in West Africa. But the preaching there is still struggling. The fact is, the more developed a country is, the more people are addicted to sense gratification. And so, less and less people are attracted to a process whereby we preach against sense gratification, renunciation, detachment, and those things. So, a lot of people come, but they don't last. They get attracted, they think they can get some mystical power, they can get some things, but when they come, they see we're only offering bhakti, devotion, they fall back like that. But the preaching is going on. We have one temple there, we have got some land, and we have the Indian community are very supportive, so they're trying to put up a temple. Let's see. So they are also doing some program. This is in the school. They go to distribute prasadam to the children in the school. That is His Holiness Bhakti Chaudhary Maharaj with his team in Abidjan. Next. I think this is a program in the temple. Next. So this is still school children. There are school children taking prasadam. They go around schools giving prasadam, encouraging people to become Krishna conscious. This is prasadam distribution in the street in a Muslim area. You can see how they dress. Next. So His Holiness Kavichandra Maharaj was there recently. That's him and Bhakti Chaudhary Maharaj. Next. Then preaching in Lagos. Next slide. So we have the person giving the class. He's a professor of art. He teaches in the University of Lagos. And he's a devotee. He's initiated. And he comes to the temple, he gives classes. He's also trying to connect with other academicians with Srila Prabhupada's mission. So he's a very learned personality, and devotees love his lectures. And so he is helping to build the community in Lagos. Next. That's him. Next. Then preaching in Ota. Ota is about 30 kilometers away from Lagos, and is the latest project that has been developed. Ganga Prasad Prabhu, I think you all know him. He was one of the early devotees in Radha Gopinath Temple. So he is in charge of this project. They have acquired a huge land, and they've already started construction of a temple. But where they are is a rented property. Let's see. Next. So the local Africans, they're listening to a lecture in the Sunday program, as you can see. And then next is there are more of them listening. And then that's Ganga Prasad himself. Those of you who know him. And then there is Kirtan. Right after the lecture, there is Kirtan. And then we have Bini. Bini is the biggest temple in Nigeria. Actually, according to our records, Bini is the capital, is the head office of our preaching in Nigeria, because that was the first property that was purchased by Bhakti Tita Swami Maharaj when all the other temples were still rented. that place was purchased. And so we registered the place as our head office. So next, that is Yadunath Prabhu is the temple president. And of course, he just completed the GBC college last year. And so he is to be promoted or assigned as a zonal supervisor. He's in process, very dynamic devotee. He's national chairman also from Nigeria. He travels through all the temples, inspiring devotees to preach, do book distribution, do Harinam. Very dynamic devotee. Next, some kirtan is going on in Benin City. Next, I think this is a Sunday class. They are all listening. These are some old devotees. Acharya Purandra Prabhu and the other devotee there. They are like members of the temple council. They are supporting the temple. This is a pharmacist and this is an eye specialist. They have their own establishments and they support much of the financial needs of the temple. Next, I think this is the same Benin. They are still listening to lectures on the Sunday program. Now we have preaching in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is an oil city. I always remember Port Harcourt because when I joined the temple in Ghana in 1981, there was a need for books. And at that time, as I said, the Nigerian economy was booming. It was strong. And so most of the books and items we needed were shipped to Nigeria. Then all the other countries would come to Nigeria to take. So from Ghana, we went to Nigeria to collect books for Ghana. And at that time, there was just only one temple in Lagos. And so once we were in Nigeria, our Sankirtan leader was Sikhi Maiti Prabhu. He said, we can come to Nigeria and go back to Ghana without having some provisions for the temple. So let us do some Sankirtan for a week or two, and then we can generate some income, and we can buy petty provisions that were absent in Ghana. In those days, you could not find toothpaste in Ghana. You cannot find even bathing soap in Ghana. But in Nigeria, all the supermarkets and even on the streets, they were all flooded with essential commodities. So we went on Sankirtan. We were looking for a place to distribute books. And somebody said, why don't you go to Port Harcourt? At that time, there was nothing happening there. Nobody knew about Krishna consciousness. So we just drove. It's quite a distance, about 9 hours drive from Lagos to Port Harcourt. So Sikhi Maiti, myself, Ishwara Prabhu, but then not all of us were still Bhaktas. And so we drove all the way to Port Harcourt with a van full of books. And we were so inspired. The people of Port Harcourt, they are spiritually inclined. They were buying Srila Prabhupada's books in sets. We're not selling one piece. No. We have a copy of Bhagavad Gita, a copy of the sixth canto, Yamadutas, sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, teachings of Kapila, teachings of Kunti, coming back, part of perfection, beyond birth and death, chant and be happy. We had a whole pile like this. That's how we're selling the books. And they were just buying them that way. Police officers, military officers, chief executives, anybody we approached, they were taking Prabhupada's books. It was amazing. In fact, I can always say that preaching actually changed my heart. I felt this is what I should be doing. Nothing more than this. And so within 2 weeks, we sold all the books in the vehicle. Everything got finished. And then the last day of our Sankirtan, Sikhi Maiti went and called the temple in Lagos to inform them that our books are finished and we may be coming back to Lagos. And he received the news that Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj was arriving that day in Lagos. And that was my first time of meeting Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. So that night we drove all the way from Port Harcourt. We arrived in Lagos 4:30 a.m. and Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was leading the kirtan, a roaring kirtan. And after the kirtan, they announced the Sankirtan report. And Maharaj was so impressed. He called me to his office and said, Bhakta Sylvester, what do you want to do with your life? At that time, I had won a scholarship to study in Moscow. Yeah, so, and my Sikhi Maiti had told him about it. So he called me in and said, I heard you got a scholarship to study in Moscow. I said, yes. He said, what are you going to study? I said, I'm going to study medicine. He said, wow, very good. But better be a doctor of the soul than to be a doctor of the body. So then he said, go think about it. I'm not forcing you. Go and think about it. So I went out and I went to meet my Sankirtan leader, Sikhi Maiti. I said, Prabhu, I just went to meet Bhakti Tita Maharaj and he asked me to join the movement full time. What do you think? He just embraced me and said, you are so fortunate that Bhakti Tita Maharaj himself is telling you to be a devotee. You're coming to ask me. If I were you, at that time I had not shaved. If I were you, I would just simply go shave my head, put on tilak, wear dhoti, and go pay obeisances to him. I said, thank you, Prabhu. Then I went to the Bhakta leader. There was one devotee from Los Angeles, Umapati Prabhu, your namesake. I don't know where he is now, a disciple of Tamakrishna Maharaj, Umapati Prabhu. He was the Bhakta leader in Lagos. So I went to him and said, Prabhu, Bhakti Tita Maharaj has just told me I should forgo my education, forgo my courses, and become a devotee. What do you think? He said, wow, Bhakti Tita Maharaj is asking you to become a full-time devotee, and you're coming to ask me. And he repeated the same thing as if they had had a meeting before. He said, if I were you, I would just shave off my head, I'll put on tilak, I'll wear a dhoti, and I'll pay my obeisances to Bhakti Tita Maharaj. I said, okay. Second witness. So I went to the temple president himself. Because I had heard in a class that before you take a major decision, you should consult 3 Brahmins. I've heard that in a class somewhere. So I wanted to complete that journey. So I went to the temple president. And I said, Prabhu, he was Patramrita. He left ISKCON and joined Gaudiya Math. Took sannyas, I don't know where he is now. Patramrita Prabhu. He was a brahmachari at that time. He was the temple president for Lagos. So I went to him. I had a relationship with him. I used to serve him. So I went to him and I said, Prabhu, Bhakti Tita Maharaj had just called me into his room and he's asking me I should forget about my course. I should become a devotee and I don't know what to do, so I need your advice. Can you advise me? He said, Bhakti Tita Maharaj has asked you to become a devotee. What are you waiting for? You are coming to seek permission from me? Just go and shave your head, put on tilak, and go and pay obeisance to Bhakti Tita Maharaj. So I said, finish. Journey concluded. So immediately I went and fetched a devotee. We got a billet. I shaved my head. I cut a tika. I put on tilak. I wore a dhoti. I knocked at Maharaj's door. He said, yes. Who is there? I said, Bhakti Srivas. I said, come in. I went in and I fell flat on his feet. And Maharaj was so kind. Immediately he started massaging my ugly head. And I think that mercy he transferred to me that time is still keeping me alive. So anyway, Port Harcourt is my turning point. I always remember that because of those books we distributed, within 2 weeks, so many books went out to so many people. Prabhupada was happy with us. And because the Prabhupada was happy with us, he made things easy for us. So I always remember Port Harcourt is where my spiritual life actually began. Next. So these are the devotees in Port Harcourt. They have wonderful devotees there. Ojaswi Prabhu, Seketania, he plays harmonium, disciple of Jaya Pataka Swami Maharaj. Very sweet devotee. And they do a lot of kirtans there most of the time. Next. Still the same, Port Harcourt temple. They have a huge temple. Then in the north of Nigeria, we have Kaduna. We have 2 temples in the north of Nigeria. Northern Nigeria is Muslim, totally Muslim community. But somehow or the other, Jos is a bit open. Kaduna is a bit open. Other states, you cannot start any religious activity there except Islam. Yeah, they even apply Sharia law. Yeah, some of the states are so Islamic that they follow Sharia law. They follow the Quran. But Kaduna, they still have a little bit, they're still a bit open, so we have a temple there. And in Jos also, is also a bit open, we have a temple there. So those are the northern states in Nigeria where we have temples. So let's see what's happening. This is, in Kaduna mostly, we have few local people, but the Indian community, they are very supportive. Every Sunday they come to the temple, they have Gita Gan, they chant Bhagavad Gita together, they have Arti, they provide funding, and gradually we are reaching out to the local people and try to make them devotees. Next. So that's the temple president, Devarishi Prabhu, in the center up there. So he is coordinating the activities in Kaduna. Next. Then we have preaching in Abeokuta. Abeokuta is the capital of the next state to Lagos. So there also a few local people are participating, but we have a very supportive Indian community. So things are gradually developing. In fact, that property, what we are using for the temple, was donated by one devotee. He has passed away, but he donated his house and his car for our preaching. And so it's ISKCON property. Next. So there's the temple president, Acharya, Ananta Acharya Prabhu, in a yellow dhoti, and then with a mix of local people and Indian devotees. Next. The same thing. These are the Indian committee members who are supportive to the temple in Abeokuta. Preaching in Benin Republic. Benin Republic, it's been just one of the latest temples we just opened. I think not up to a year, because Benin is one of the populated, Cotonou is one of the populated cities in West Africa. And so we felt that with that high population, some Harinam must be going on. Some preaching must be going on, so that all these souls that are looking for something, all these souls that are wandering about, trying to find something to enjoy, they may by chance hear the holy name. They may by chance meet the devotees. They may by chance get Srila Prabhupada's books. And in this way, they'll be connected to the transcendental system of Krishna consciousness. So we just started a temple there a few months ago. And the devotees, young devotees, they're very enthusiastic. They're going on every day doing Harinam and distributing some pamphlets and books. And so we hope that in the near future, the project can expand. Next. So this is the devotees there in Cotonou who are doing the preaching and doing the daily Harinam in the city of Cotonou. Then preaching in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is north of Ghana. We started the preaching there about 12 years ago. Preaching has not expanded much, but is steadily growing. At the moment, we started with one devotee from the local area, but now we have about 5 devotees from the local area. So as the years go by, we are sure that we will be able to pick those pious souls who want to connect to Krishna consciousness. And then we are thinking of opening another center in the next biggest city. The capital is called Ouagadougou. The capital city of Burkina Faso is Ouagadougou, but they have another city which is to the west of the country. It's also a very big city, commercial city, so we're thinking of opening another temple there. And then from Ouagadougou or Burkina Faso, there are many other French countries like Mali, Sudan, Chad, Algeria. All of these are countries we can possibly venture into. Once we are established and we have devotees supporting the preaching in Ouagadougou, then we can think of sending them to other countries to start some preaching. Next. So this is in Burkina Faso. This is the temple in Burkina Faso. We have both mixed Indian devotees and the local devotees taking prasadam after the Sunday program. Next, conclusion. There is a lot of scope for preaching in West Africa, and you can be part of this wonderful experience. Visit West Africa to inspire the devotees to distribution of Prabhupada's books. Your kind support in the form of books for preaching will be highly appreciated. A building has been donated by a pious Indian family for the purpose of training devotee preachers and the future leaders, and your input in this important project will be deeply appreciated. In fact, I want to register our appreciation to the devotees in Damodara Desh, headed by Srivas Prabhu. Srivas Prabhu, over the years, I sometimes visit Dubai, and he has been very helpful. I think for the last 2 years, they gave us a donation of books, $10,000 in 2 consecutive years, and they're still thinking of supporting with more books. So we are trying to expand the book distribution scheme. We have one devotee from Canada, Keshava Prabhu, and his wife is from, I think, Sweden or Switzerland. Keshava Priya Mataji. She used to live in my airport here. She's from Denmark. Okay, thank you. So they have joined together. They're in Ghana. They're doing amazing service. They have a stand, a book stand, and every day they're there. And a lot of people are connecting with them. They're taking books, they're reading books, and so we have created a new program for them. Once a month, we rent a hall somewhere in town, which is accessible to them. We bring all the people. In fact, I told him, create a WhatsApp group. Anybody who buys a book, put him on the WhatsApp group. Keep him connected. And then invite them to a monthly program. In that program, we take devotees there, they do nice kirtan. We give them prasadam. We give them philosophy. We expose them to chanting. We supply them beads, they chant. And we ask those who are interested to continue. And some of them step forward and they buy beads and begin to chant. So once a month, they do that program. And their program is expanding like anything. And a lot of people are taking books from them. And it's amazing. So please be part of this preaching program in West Africa. In fact, as I said, some pious Indian family donated a building, a 5-bedroom building, for us to use for training devotees. So we're thinking of training bhaktas, training preachers, training Sankirtan devotees, and that should be the core of our future. Training, I think in the morning section, I was sitting on the table with our chairman, GBC chairman, Guru Prasad Maharaj, and then the conclusion was to keep devotees enthused, we have to do 3 things. Good prasadam, good training. What's the 3rd thing? Sadhana, I think strong sadhana. 3 things that came out. If you give devotees nice prasadam, they will want to stay. If you train devotees very nicely, they would want to participate. And if you keep them active in your morning sadhana, they will become strong. So the purpose of this building is just meant for this. And so we are looking for some powerful devotees to help us establish this preaching center. 6 months, 1 year is sufficient. We can get it rolling, and that will be the core of our preaching for the whole West Africa, actually. Once it picks up in Ghana, other centers can send their devotees for the training, and that will be a very strong push for the preaching in West Africa. I think I have 5 more minutes. If there are any comments or questions, you're welcome. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, I want to say, let me say something. His Holiness Devadatta Swami Maharaj visited Nigeria and Ghana many years ago, 1983, 84, I think, Maharaj. Yes, right, 84. That's right. So when will you come again?
I was going to say that I first met you. Was it Ghana or Nigeria in
I was in
1984?
Nigeria. I was the president for Ibadan when you came, 84.
Yes. So I'm very interested to hear what's changed since 1984. You explained some about the material setting that Nigeria was booming back then with the oil. All the oil is gone now?
Well, it's still there, but the leaders are corrupt. And so they are not utilizing the resources properly. And so the country is suffering. Can you imagine in 1983, 84, 1 naira, which is the Nigerian currency, was equivalent to $2. Today, $1 is 1,500 naira. You can imagine where we are. The country has gone down.
So does that make the opportunity for preaching better or worse? Or?
Well, both opportunities are there. When the economy goes bad, more people take shelter of Krishna consciousness. Of course, that is those who are pious. When there is difficulty, they tend to Krishna consciousness, they tend to God. Those who are impious, they become worse. So there's opportunity for increasing the preaching because things are difficult. People are looking for solutions to their problems. And so it has increased the opportunity to preach. All right.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes?
Hare Krishna. It was very exciting to hear that. So thank you very much and very inspiring. Could you just explain your kind support in the form of books for preaching will be highly appreciated, because few months back his Kavi Chandra Maharaj had come to Delhi, and then when I spoke to him, so he did say that if you can send a few books to Africa, and then maybe from Juhu or somewhere the books used to go, but because of the accent I couldn't understand what Maharaj had said.
Thank you.
Few days back I received a message also from Maharaj. So now since this came, so then we thought what to do practically and
Thank
what
you.
to expect.
Thank you very much. And normally we get our books from Juhu, BBT Mumbai. But first of all, money has to be paid. Somebody has to sponsor. That's not what happens. The devotees in Dubai, under the leadership of Srivas Prabhu, they pay some money to the BBT in Dubai, and then we arrange for the shipment to Accra or to Lagos. Yeah, so anybody who wants to sponsor some books, it can also be sent from Delhi. If you have some facility, some opportunity to get some books from Delhi, it can also be shipped. We have one big businessman who has a big company in Ghana. His office is in Delhi. And I've already talked to him. He said, anyway, if you have any books, let me know, and I can help you to bring them. So from Delhi, we can send books, and from Juhu, we can send books. So if you can arrange some sponsorship, it doesn't matter the quantity. 1 carton, 3 cartons, 100 cartons, 1,000,000 cartons. So, you're most welcome.
So, Prabhuji, what language and whom to coordinate with, if you can let us know, then we will definitely want to serve.
I will take your number.
Yes.
I'll coordinate.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes? Governor Prabhu is here. Okay, go.
Hare Krishna, Srivas Maharaj. Thank you very much for your wonderful seminar. So, you've been to East Africa, from where we are from. And, when you were just speaking, I was just seeing the centers are just being opened. So, what is the difference in the preaching between East Africa and West Africa? If you can just speak about something in your experience.
Thank you. The difference is you are preaching to the cream of society. You're already doing that. We are behind you. Even though we are doing all these arrangements, distributing books to libraries and schools and all this, we are eventually arriving at your method. Govinda Prem Prabhu, Umapati Prabhu, they are doing amazing service in Kenya. Yes. Srila Prabhupada will be so happy if he were to be in Kenya today. When Prabhupada went to Kenya in 1972, he wasn't happy with Brahmananda Swami, Brahmananda Prabhu at that time, because he was preaching to only the Indian community. But Srila Prabhupada wanted the local people to participate in Krishna consciousness. That's exactly what they are doing now. They are having preaching in the universities, and they've got a lot of young people joining from the universities. They even have an ashram very close to the temple, where students in the university, they stay there, perform sadhanas in the morning and the evening, and between that, they go to their school and study. And in the end, some of them become full-time devotees, and those who don't become full-time devotees, they work and they support. So you are already ahead of us. And we are falling from behind. You are our inspiration. And we hope we'll get there. But we are preparing the ground. So the difference is you are already talking to the academicians, the intelligentsia, the intelligent class of people. You're approaching them, and that is a cream. If you can make one intelligent person a devotee, he can make 1,000 others devotees. So that is a strategy you are applying. And the preaching in Nairobi, in Kenya, in East Africa will definitely expand unlimitedly because you are getting the cream of the people in Kenya to become devotees of Krishna. And so we are trying to follow that example.
Your humbleness.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Durga Prabhu.
Yes. So thank you very much, Srivas Prabhu. It was so inspiring to see the amazing explosion of preaching Krishna consciousness. I had one question that do you have like a website or Facebook page or Instagram page or anything on social media or YouTube channel where, at least West Africa means many of these activities, they are all there, and some interviews, videos, films of the different things, because the world needs to hear more about this, so if that's there right now, then maybe we need to get the links or things like that. So how is the media exposure of all your activities?
Yeah, I think that is you hit the nail on the head. Even though we are doing a lot of these things, Kavichandra Murray has been talking about it. He says we should have a specific website that all this information can be found. Because today's world is the ICT world. So people Google, they search, and very easily they can get in touch. So I think we are working on that. Yeah, we're working on a website. In fact, in Ghana, they have a website, but that's just for Ghana. So we are thinking of a website for the whole West Africa. So all the activities that are going on can be hosted there. And people can easily see. So thank you for your suggestion. We immediately
So Parijat Mataji, she's the Executive Secretariat Office for Communications for ISKCON.
Okay.
Maybe you can talk to her, introduce on this topic, and then we can provide support from India.
Wonderful.
And then, the IT team from India can coordinate with your content team, and we could expedite the creation of this faster.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Any other comment or question? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's very, very inspiring how you have, apparently it's clear how much you are working so hard for preaching. And just had a question because there are, as you said, several countries where, or maybe states you said, where it's like Muslim majority population.
Yeah.
So in such areas, and as this thing is increasing, this religious fanaticism, so what's the approach in those countries? How is there some idea or some plan?
Yes. In the Jos area, which is one of the northern states, this is particularly with reference to Nigeria. The northern states of Nigeria are totally Islamic. The southern states are Christian. So Christians are a bit open. So preaching, we don't have much of a problem. But the Islamic states, they're close. And they are sometimes even violent. If they see that you are trying to penetrate, then they find ways and means to create trouble. So the temple president for Jos, Salika Prabhu, he is approaching the the Muslim community with issues of environment, issues of peace, issues of issues that concern everyone. And they do a lot of interfaith. They hold a lot of interfaith in Jos, where Muslims come, Christians come, and then he projects ISKCON's philosophy around environmental protection, around a green revolution, around things that will foster a better living conditions for everybody. And they are now seeing that ISKCON has some solutions. So that is the approach, that in Islamic states where they don't want to hear any philosophy, we have to approach through these social, service, social welfare activities. So that is the way. And then alongside with that, he gives everybody a book. Anytime they have a meeting, he has a parcel of books he gives to all the participants. And so gradually they're reading. It's like in Ghana, when Bhakti Tita Maharaj used to come, we used to organize a lecture, a kind of a debate between the greatest evangelists and Muslims with Bhakti Tita Maharaj. And he would just defeat them. So when they saw that, they started avoiding him. He did that a number of times, and the most powerful evangelists, they wouldn't want to see him. They don't want to come in close to him. So there was one very big, the biggest evangelist in Ghana. We were trying to drag him to meet Bhakti Tita Maharaj. He avoided him. So what we did was, we sent him a parcel of books. Science of Self-Realization, Path of Perfection, Chana Be Happy, and Bhagavad Gita. So we made a parcel. We went to his office. He was there, but the secretary said he had traveled. We saw his car, but they don't want us to meet him. They said he has traveled. So we said, okay, this is a gift from our spiritual master. Please give it to your bishop. So they delivered it to him. And then Prabhupada's books are potency. Even just by touching, you get zapped. Just by touching, you would get some spiritual vibration. So when he took the books, he was inspired to read. And he opened them up, he saw the Science of Self-Realization, he began to read, and then he read all the books. And he became very favorable. Because any intelligent person who reads the Prabhupada's books, his mind will change. So he started appreciating devotees at a distance. And then, one day, while he was preaching in the church, he's an important personality, he's recognized, everybody respects him. He was preaching, and then he just got into his spiritual element. He said, I want to tell you something, you guys. Those people who wear bare sheets, they're dirty, and paint their faces, don't undermine them. The knowledge they have, we don't have it. I'm recommending to all of you, try to read their books. You would improve your understanding of spiritual life. So when he said this, one of the elders of the church stood up and said, Reverend, you made a very important statement, and I want to support your statement. And Reverend said, what is it? He said, if you think the Hare Krishnas have the best philosophy, why don't we all go and join them? And Reverend thought for a while. He didn't have an immediate answer. He thought for a while and he said, well, we've got some commitments. They have a university. They have a university where they teach. They have many courses, MBA, accounting. He said, we have some responsibility. If we go and join the Hare Krishnas, how do we take care of these responsibilities? But for now, let us read their books and let us see the next step. But we can't join them. So from his church, a lot of people come to the temple to buy books. It's a big church. There's another reverend minister also. We were trying to invite him to meet Bhakti Tita Maharaj. He avoided him. So we did the same thing. We parceled some books and we gave it to the secretary. When he read the books, he was amazed. He went into his church and said, look, all of you, you should read those books by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. You should read them. They have a lot of information for us. So from his church also, a lot of people come to the temple to buy books. So anybody who gets the opportunity to receive Srila Prabhupada's books, his life will change. Hare Krishna. I think my time is up. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.